Africa, and a very warm welcome to you. Yep, you guessed it, we are still celebrating Africa Month. So helping us do so, we've got our resident chef in the loft. Chef Dumi, welcome, girl.
Welcome to everybody. I feel like going out in song here, in dance, because it's still Africa Month, Balisa. I'm so excited to be here with our guest in studio today.
Absolutely, and on that note, it seems as if he's already in the mood, he's in the vibes. Chef Tapiwa, welcome to the loft.
Thank you so much, Felisa. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Chef Dumi, for welcoming me. You guys are awesome. I'm loving I'm loving the team, and thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Listen, we're about to have some fun here, and I'm so ready for it. I mean, we're still in the high spirits that come with celebrating Africa Month. So let's open up today's Thursday Afternoon Express cook-along menu. Zimbabwean-born chef and caterer Tapiwa Munyawiri is in the kitchen to whip up pilchards and Chakalaka Burgers, make ox tripe alongside pap infused with a trinity of cheeses. Treat us to a delectable fried lamb kidneys served with tomato, creamy spinach, samp and some beans. And to end it all off on a sweet note with a steamed lemon maize pudding. My name is Balisa Dembe, and let's explore these amazing flavors. Just head over to our Afternoon Express website, Nedumi, if any of our viewers want to find out how to make any of these dishes. But Chef, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Now, Chef, when it comes to your start off and you kicking off in your cooking journey, I believe you started at 5 years.
I started off at 5, yes. It started off as a chore, and then it grew into something that I ended up, taking up as a career now. So when people ask me, what do you do for a living? I always say, I cook for a living. And it all started when I was 5,
that is
as a chore. So this is something that is very close to my heart, something that I'm very passionate about. And yeah, cooking for me is everything.
Is everything. I mean, Dumi, he might be born and raised in Zimbabwe, but it seems as if a lot of us have a lot in common. A lot of us started off at it just being a chore. I mean, I used to drag my feet going to cook. I don't know about you, Dumi.
I can definitely relate, Balisa. I mean, the one thing is that whenever you are in a home and there's cooking, you always feel like, I want to be eating it, I don't want to be making it, because it just takes so long, especially with our families. There's not just one dish, there's always this that goes with that. That's why Barake 7 colors, not several colors. So I can relate with it being a chore and then turning into love. I understand.
And with your journey, I mean, it hasn't always been easy. I don't know if you know Mzansi, but Chef Tapiwa was faced with a very tough decision along his journey that he had to make, which led you ultimately to the kitchen. So can you tell us just about those split roads?
So for me, I studied hospitality management at the Vaal University. And in my second year, I specialized in food and beverage management. And throughout the years, I've always worked as a front office personnel. But I got bored. I got bored. There was a lot of monotony. Then I decided to move to the kitchen. This was after exploring the various departments of the hotel where I was working. Then I found myself falling more in love with the kitchen. And it wasn't a smooth ride. It wasn't a smooth transition. But tell you what, I'm here. We're here. We're gonna make, we're gonna make magic, right?
I love the fact, though, that at the end of the day, it's always been at your heart and in your core to take care of others. Whether you are working in the front desk in hospitality, being able to manage and juggle everyone that comes into whatever space you're warming up for them, you need to be able to take care of the heart. Now, they do say that one way to someone's heart is through their stomach. So how are you going to get to our hearts today?
Well, we could just dive into it and see. Yeah, we're going to be making some wonders, some burgers. Yeah, so we might just get into it and show the people at home what we are made of.
What we're working with, that's exactly what I like to hear.
Yes,
now, anybody out there is craving a burger, well, then you should listen carefully, because tomorrow is World Hamburger Day, one of my favorite days of the year. Now, we have created a coveted, beautiful Lucky Star pilchard and Chakalaka burger that, listen, you're going to be thanking us later. So, Dumi, to create this masterpiece, what do we need?
Balisa, we're putting a bit of a twist on this dish, because normally hamburgers are made with beef or chicken. We've decided we're not making a fish cake per se, but we're using tin fish to make our patties, and we're adding a whole lot of flavors into that. I mean, chef, we've got here our Lucky Star pilchards that's going to be going into our patties. We've got some sweet potato. We've also got some breadcrumbs. We've got some parsley, Balisa, that you're going to chop up for us, and all of that is going to go into this beautiful patty that we're going to serve with some rocket and some cucumber ribbons. Balisa, my mouth is watering. I think we should just get started with this now.
On your marks, get set, go. Now, what I'm so excited about is that what Lucky Star has done for us within the Chakalaka and within all of their different canned goods, they've allowed us to play with flavors. We've got here the hot and spicy Chakalaka, but we also have here the mild and spicy Chakalaka. So it doesn't matter your flavor or taste profile, we've got you covered. So Dumi, today we're going to be using the mix.
Yes, definitely. So today we're going to be using the mild and spicy. What I'm doing right now, though, is I'm just draining our Lucky Star pilchards here because I'm going to give Chef some of this liquid. We're going to use it to help bind our patties. And before I go further, a lot of people, when working with pilchards, what they like to do is they like to remove that bone on the center. And it's a preference. You can, you don't have to. I personally don't mind it because I feel like it adds a bit of texture because you know that crunch that's in there. And you know the bones are good for you because they're a good source of calcium. So this right here, if you want to, you can remove it, but I'm the kind of person that would even chew on it while I'm busy prepping. I
mean, the calcium within those fish bones for me are unmatched, unparalleled, and that's what I love about pilchards. It doesn't matter whether you're looking for your omega-3s and those healthy fat, fish fats, they come through with the goods. Now, Chef, on your side, I just want you to get going with your mixture and what exactly you're going to be creating this.
Okay, so what I'm going to be doing now is after Tumi is done with crushing the pilchard, I'm going to be making the patties.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'll be mixing the breadcrumbs, spicing. I'm going to putting in I've got some onion here. I've got some pepper, a little bit of salt, and then a little bit of that liquid from the tin. And then we'll be mixing it with some flour. Make some patties. I love monster patties, so you guys will have to forgive me. And then I'm going to be dunking them in the flour, in the bread, in the egg, and then in the breadcrumbs. But for today, we're not using breadcrumbs. We're using cornflakes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you could crush your cornflakes and then turn them into breadcrumbs. Otherwise, if you don't have or if you don't want to use this, you could use, your outer crusts from bread.
From your loaf.
From your loaf of bread. You could take those, put them in a toaster, and then leave them to dry, and then you can always use them at a later on stage.
I like that. So you're able then to play when it comes to creating that outer crust. But trust me, Chef Tapiwa, we are not going to be fighting. We want those big, juicy, fishy burger patties because we want to be able to taste what we're creating here and truly, truly enjoy it.
Okay. So I'm going to start with my burgers. Over here, I've got the sweet potato that I'm going to put in this bowl here. I'm going to mix with the fish over here. And to me, I heard you speaking about the omega that we get from the fish. I recently discovered that, omega is good for, in fact, it has always been good. It helps reduce anxiety, depression. There's quite a lot that it does. So for me, anxiety, depression is something that is very, close to heart. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be eating more of Lucky Star, and shout out to Lucky Star.
I love the fact that you brought that up because a lot of South Africans and viewers that are viewing across South Africa in general can relate to having that anxiety, having that depression, especially coming out of COVID-19.
Yes.
We are making burgers, which are classic fast food recipes, and you created your very own fast food recipe as well during that lockdown, during that COVID. So you saw yourself taking that depression, that anxiety, turning it on its head, making a business out of it.
Yes, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy starting a business during COVID. I lost my job, and then instead of just sitting and not doing anything, I decided to go back to basics. I decided to start or open shop. So I sew and cook from my house or from my place.
I'm just this because I want the viewers to see exactly what you're doing over there.
All right. So I cook and I sell. So usually I post food on my Instagram and on my WhatsApp status, and then the people from or my friends and family and guys who stay in my neighborhood usually just order and they come and collect. And right now I'm moving into the Uber space. So soon we'll be running a cloud kitchen.
It seems like we've got a businessman here, Dumi.
Definitely, Palisa. And Mr. Business yourself, do you want to give us the steps there with the business? You're about to form the patties for us.
Yeah. So what I've done now is I've put in I've mixed the sweet potato with the Lucky Star fish, crumbed I'm adding the crumbs now, the breadcrumbs, and then I'm adding a little bit of salt just to spice. I've put in the paper, and then I'm putting a little bit of liquid just to help me mold it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be taking just bits and pieces. You can do small pieces, basically, and also you could add in some peppers if you want. You know, we've got kids at home who don't like veggies. I mean, you could cheat and just put in some veggies.
Sneak in some veggies.
Sneak in some veggies. And then, yeah, so our burgers, there they come. So now I don't want them to be runny. I don't want to be runny. So, yeah.
Okay, so Chef, I want you to form these burgers and put them on that very hot pan here so we can see that coming together. But I also love the fact that you're showing us the importance of making sure the consistency is correct, making sure that that patty is thickened up so it doesn't completely fall apart and dismantle in the pan. Very, very important. Now, what I also love about Lucky Star, the chakalaka here that we're using in particular, is that it gives you an opportunity to play, whether you're creating this delicious dish that we're making today, or if you want to be adventurous. Dumi, if you could take this Lucky Star and make something different and not just these fast food burgers, what would it be?
Balis, I think I touched on it earlier in the week that I would definitely add this into a gorda. I feel like it's such a well-rounded ingredient to use, you know? Like today we're using the mild and spicy chakalaka, and it is the star of our dish today, because normally you would use like relishes and sauces, tomato sauces and stuff. This chakalaka is so perfect because it's got all the flavors packed in there. And the great thing about it is that it's got quality ingredients with those, you know, those carrots in there, all the cabbage. It's quality ingredients, so you know what you're packing into your burger is good for you.
And that's essentially now what you're using just as a relish to
Correct.
coat those veggies that are on your bun already. I see that you've decided to toast your buns as well, looking delicious.
Definitely, Palisa. It's always important to do that because not only does it add that smoky flavor, but it also helps with just making sure the ingredients don't get absorbed into your bun as well. Okay. So what Chef is going to do now is basically put these into some breadcrumbs and fry it up. But luckily, we've made some a little earlier. So this is basically what you're looking for. You're looking for that nice, beautiful crust on the outside. And luckily, because everything in there is already cooked, it literally is just for the beautiful color on the outside. And I'm going to start assembling these. We've got our relish at the bottom, our rocket, and we've got the chakalaka. And onto this, I'm just adding a bit of sweet chili sauce because why not? And this is basically how our burgers turn out.
Dumi, as you are just putting that together, Chef, lastly, if I were to ask you very, very quickly how you would use your Lucky Star in your very own recipe, other than what we're doing today, what would it be?
My favorite and my all-time favorite, one that I would eat back in college, was I would add Lucky Star. I would add some tinned beans to the Lucky Star and have it with acha and pap. Oh. God, that smacked.
Delicious. And that is the question that we're asking all of our viewers today. If you would like to walk away with your very own Lucky Star hamper, listen up. We've got some great news for you. We are giving away a 1,000 Rand Lucky Star hamper filled with loads of delicious Lucky Star items. All you have to do is to hop over to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram competition posts and tell us what dish you would make with a tin of Lucky Star chakalaka. Remember to include the hashtag Lucky Star SA. Competition closes at noon, Monday, the 31st of May. T's and C's can be found on afternoonexpress.co.za. Now, as we head over to social media, we are asking you, you know, we're still celebrating African culture. We cannot do so without including food. So what twist would you love to put on a traditional African dish? Use that hashtag Afternoon Express in all of your comments. Now, Chef Tapiwa, as we are just frying up those burgers, what can we expect coming up?
Coming up, we're going to be assembling our burgers. Once we're done frying our burgers, we're going to be adding a little bit of mayo. We're going to be adding a little bit of rocket.
No, you know what, Chef? On that note, I've got another idea.
Yes.
How about you show us an innovative side of you? How about you show us how to make an ox tripe served with pap infused with a trinity of cheeses? Sound like a deal?
Perfect.
See you,
Let's go for it.
See you when we return.
Clover cheese is for those who love life, where everything falls into place and melts away our cares, adding joy and stretching our imagination. Clover, for the love of cheese.
Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back to our Zim-inspired menu with Chef Tapiwa. Now, if there is ever a triple threat recipe, that has to be our next one. Well, Chef Tapiwa cooks up an ox tripe served with what he calls trinity pap, composed of 3 different types of clover cheeses in one single serving of pap. Now, that's what we just call elite. Now, Chef Tapiwa, I just think that this is such an innovative dish, delicious, yummy, flavorful. What do our viewers need?
Okay, so for this to happen, we obviously need your tripe, which is our meat. It can never be a meal without meat in Africa. We all know that, right?
That's true.
So we've got our tripe, and then over here we've got our oil, our milk, our cream, our peanut butter, and any veggies that are easily accessible to you. So in this case, we're going to be using some carrots, some onion, and some celery, and some crushed garlic. And then we're going to be having some seasoning into it. And yeah, we're going to be making that ox tripe with peanut butter.
That's I mean, essentially, when it comes to Zim, peanut butter seems to be a staple. It seems as if whether it is with your porridge in the morning or whether it's in a tripe stew that we're creating today, that peanut butter flavor is definitely just repeated throughout. Why is that?
Well, back in Zimbabwe, a lot of people are subsistence farmers. So, you know, in supplementing or to supplement on our protein, the easy thing that is readily there is peanut butter. So you get, you know, kids that are stunted, that have got stunted growth. So to avoid such, we try to use as much peanuts as possible. So I'm gonna start with my veggies. I'm gonna saute everything. I'm gonna throw in my onion. I'm gonna just enough, generous, and then some carrots, generous portion of carrots. We want to take over, and then some celery and. There we go.
Okay. While you're doing that, Chef, I'm going to get started with our pap as well, because we are serving it with some delicious elite pap. And that's what we like to call it, Balisa, elite level kind of pap. Because this pap is not just simple and plain. It's using those ingredients that you have in front of you, Balisa. 3 cheese, trinity of cheeses. We've got some Gouda, we've got some cheddar, we've got some feta, all complements of clover.
Yes.
Quality ingredient, 100%. Cow's milk, so you know definitely it's quality. And Balisa, it's elite in the fact that you know that you never have to worry about what goes into it. So it works perfectly inside our cheesy pap today. What I'm doing here is I've got some water that's been boiling, salted water, because you know how I make my pap. I have to add that salt. And into this, I'm going to hoy my mili meal. And like my mother or grandmother taught me, you don't use a fork, you don't use a spoon, you use a wooden spoon. It's the only way to get that right consistency. And I just chuck it all in there, and the whole idea is to make sure that it's nice and soft enough, but also it is firm enough. So let me just put it in there, and I'm just going to make sure that it holds its form, and then all you do now is you let the steam make sure that it goes all the way into, you know, the right process. So I'm just going to cover this with a beautiful lid. And I've got some butter that I'm going to add at the very end with those cheeses that are going in there. So, Chef, you've started sauteing your ingredients there.
Yes, Chef. So I love my veggies crunchy. So I'm not going to do them for a long time. I'm going to take them off the heat maybe in the next 2 minutes or so, put them aside to rest. And then I'm going to take my peanut butter. I'm going to put it in the very same pan where the veggies are coming from. I want the flavors to absorb, to infuse, or to mix around. And then I'm going to take back my veggies at a later stage after putting in my peanut butter, my cream, and then I add in my tripe.
Okay.
And then I just make the whole thing, and that's how you come about your peanut butter tripe. So from here, our veggies, they are kind of done, so I'm going to take them off.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you're removing the veggies, and then what are you going to add?
I'm going to remove the veg, and then I'm going to put in the peanut butter.
So you're making like a sauce first?
I'm going to make a sauce first before I add, because I love, it depends. I personally love my veggies crunchy, and also that kind of preserves them. So if you overcook them also, you're kind of killing them further. Okay. So there we go.
Do you, chef? Do you? Awesome stuff. Palesa, how's it looking there with the cheese?
Hi, very, very good, girl. I've already got the feta ready for you, and I've also got the gouda ready for you. What I loved about this gouda, it was just so easy to kind of pull apart. They've made it super simple, making it in sheets and slices in case you want to put it in any type of sandwich. But here, I just crumbed it along with the feta, and I'm going to hand that over to you whilst I'm getting started on the cheddar.
Awesome.
Now, I do love myself a good cheddar, and you know, cheddar for me is the everything in one. So I'm definitely going to add cheddar because Chef did say it's a trinity of cheeses.
Yes.
Okay, awesome stuff. I see that sauce coming together, Chef. You've got some plain yogurt in there. You've got some peanut butter. I mean, those are flavors I never thought to put it together, especially in a tripe dish.
Yes.
But do you want to just throw in everything else so we can see exactly how this comes together? So
then we
add
in some milk, for our consistency.
To loosen it up, basically.
To loosen it up. You can add as you go. Okay, I'm gonna be adding because you don't want it to solidify and have lumps. So keep on stirring, because once you stop, you know, you have lumps in your peanut butter or in your sauce.
Okay.
So just keep on heating it until you get that right consistency, that runny, creamy consistency of your peanut butter and plain yogurt.
Okay.
As you can see, there goes all the milk. It's coming out. And
And on that note, Dumi, here is the cheddar as promised. It looks, I mean, it smells delicious.
I know,
Absolutely
Palesa.
delicious.
You can never go wrong with a good quality cheddar, you know. I'm going to get my elbows into here and work this pap of ours, because what I want to make sure of here is I've added a bit more water because I remembered as I was cooking that we're going to add some cheese into this. And obviously, if you're going to add any additional ingredient into your pap, it means that it's going to get harder. So instead of worrying about, oh my gosh, I have to start all over, I just add a bit more boiling water. It's always important, add boiling water to it. So I'm adding the boiling water into this, and our pap is almost cooked. All we're going to do now is we're going to take the tripe and then serve it all together into this beautiful, delicious, tasty dish.
I'm looking forward to that as well. Keep mixing up, keep enjoying. We're definitely almost there when it comes to our cook-along, ne?
Okay.
Definitely, Chef. So now is the point where you're adding your...
So I've added my tripe, as you can see.
Okay.
It's not going to be long until I start adding in my veggies. And then we reduce the heat so that we're going to reduce... it sautés nicely.
Okay.
So, Chef,
I'm adding the veggies, as you can see also now.
on that same note, when it comes to just the old school way of creating this dish, how then did you make it modern and add your own twist?
Well, in this case, back then we would just have tripe plain with peanut butter.
Yeah.
So now I've added veggies. My grandmother would slap me if she sees me putting in veggies into this. But then just to touch on the modern part of it, I'm sure you can see there are some nice colors out of it. You've got some purple, some green, some orange from the carrot.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything, you know, something that just calls you, that just, you know, appetizes you before you even dig in.
And on that note,
there we go.
Thank you so much. Now, nothing but elite quality, elite taste, and elite texture. To get the recipe, just head over to afternoonexpress.co.za.
Clover cheese is for those who love life, where everything falls into place and melts away our cares, adding joy and stretching our imagination. Clover, for the love of cheese.
Made with love by Clover.
Viewers ready for an absolute flavor explosion. So what do we have coming up next?
Next, we're going to be having some kidneys. I hinted Tumi on it. Tumi, are you...
I'm ready for it, actually. I just want to show people how beautiful this dish looks, Palesa. That tripe looks good. The cheesy Trinity pap is there. It's done and ready to eat. But I'm definitely looking forward to those kidneys.
Well, all of that when we return. welcome back. I mean, Chef Tapiwa, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. I feel, you know, I was nervous at first, but I think I'm getting with the program now.
Listen, we don't bite. The only thing we will be biting is what is on the menu today. Now, the motherland of Africa is absolutely rich in culture, color and cuisine, and is home to a wide variety of local delicacies and flavors. From jollof rice to the legendary braai, we all have our very own way of enjoying our flavors of home. To celebrate our magical motherland, Excella is treating us to a recipe fit for royalty. Fried lamb kidneys with tomato, served with a creamy spinach, samp and beans. Grab the family and let the feast begin. It's always better with Excella, Dumi.
Definitely, Palisa, and you had me at Samp and beans, you know? I mean, if there's anything that celebrates us South Africans or Africans in general, is that Istanbul, you know? Samp, I don't know what you guys would call it.
Well, you know what? We call it manuchu.
Okay.
But then we don't cook it like you guys do cook it. We usually cook it as plain maize with no, well, sometimes, okay,
no
we do add beans, but then it really doesn't have that much of twist. You know, it's just plain boiled, no spice, just plain boiled with salt and, yeah.
So how do you pronounce that?
Manuchu.
Manuchu. Dumi, say it with me. Manuchu.
Manuchu.
All the viewers at home send us videos saying Manuchu. Okay.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Palisa, I'm going to get started with that creamy spinach. What I've got here is I've got some butter, I've got some garlic, I have some cream and spinach. You're slicing up some mushrooms for me that are going to go into this creamy mushroom spinach. And then, Chef, you're going to show us something that I think a lot of people will be excited to learn.
Yes.
How to clean lamb kidneys.
So before we get to the cleaning part, I usually like to get my meat from fresh. Straight from an abattoir, and there are things to look out. Things like the color, and you need to see. In fact, without even smelling it, it's actually smelling it. But then, if it's giving off, you know, so
a very distinctive smell.
Yes. So just by putting it close to you, you can actually smell that off smell. But yeah, basically it's the color. It has to be red, and then as you can see, these are very, very fresh. And what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna remove the membranes on the kidneys. So I'm just gonna take a small knife and then remove these small membranes that are on it. These, when you cook them, they become chewy. So I'm gonna remove these and then slice my kidneys into half.
Okay.
Yeah, because we don't want them to fold up or to form some color once cooked.
It seems as if those membranes are very different to the other, so it's quite distinctive to basically see when you are cleaning out your kidney. It's almost foolproof here. Love that. So, Dumi, on that same note here, the mushrooms.
Thank you, my darling. Chef, do you want to just show the viewers one that's already been cleaned and one that hasn't?
Okay.
Just so we see the difference of what exactly you're
All right,
talking
so
about.
in the bowl here, I've got, as you can see, over here, this cleaned. So we remove this membrane here, if you can see, Palisa. So this, if you fry it with the kidneys, it's chewy. You know, you wouldn't like this. It's got that
texture.
That texture that just doesn't want to get cut by your teeth, and it might end up, you might choke. Okay. So this is a cleaned kidney, and the membranes are out. It takes a while. You better be careful also with your knife. Try by all means to take it slow as much as you can.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being careful here in the kitchen. But essentially, we have got quite a few that we have already been able to clean thoroughly, take out and distinguish that membrane from it. And I love the fact that you just take over here in the kitchen by taking the Excella oil. Now, what I love about Excella oil is that it's light, clean, and odorless. And essentially, it's also suitable for frying, grilling, baking, and just so much more, Dumi. Excella oil has that natural taste, enhance the flavors of whatever food you're making in, meaning that you just will always get the best quality for your family. I always say, food is better with Excella.
I love that, Palesa. I never heard that before, but it actually definitely works, Palesa, because it's got that quality product, you know, about it. The one thing I don't like when I use oil is to use oil that feels like it's been used, smells like it's been used before. You know, you feel like, these companies are rebottling this old oil and then selling it as new. But the one thing you can trust with Excel is that it's a quality product, has no off-putting smells, and you can use it, like you said, Palesa, in any type of cooking method, frying, grilling, even in baking. It works perfectly in those recipes as well. But Palesa, onto my side here. So I've been sauteing my mushrooms. I added a bit of salt to season them. I didn't add too much salt because we're using butter, and my butter is salted. I prefer salted butter when I'm making such recipes here. And then into this, I'm going to chop up my spinach. You can chop it up thinly. You can chop it up as thick as you want. It's completely up to you. You can even, if you don't want to use spinach, you could use any other green veg. It actually works perfectly. And I'm chopping it directly into our mushroom dish here. Yeah, so the creamy mushrooms with the spinach work very well together with this lamb kidney dish that we're making. And we're going to serve it all up with some samp and beans. You said it's?
Manuchu.
Manuchu.
No, you won't get it in one go. I mean, I had to learn a few of South African languages, and it didn't all happen in one night.
So practice makes perfect.
Practice makes perfect, you know. So the more you're going to be saying it, the more you get it, you'll get it eventually.
It will roll off the tongue.
Exactly, yeah.
And speaking of which, we did promise a tomato salsa to go along with this. Beautiful, easy, quick to make. I've already added the tomatoes. Now, what I love about tomatoes is that it already has its own natural juices. It's very filled with water and liquids. So we might not even need any extra water.
Correct.
But let's see how it goes.
Let's see.
I've also added some red onions here at the top of the salsa. And then, Dumi, what are these last three ingredients here that I've got? I've got some, and this looks just like that sugar.
Yes,
you know that sugar from Durban. That sugar came from Durban.
Yes, Palesa, you've got some brown sugar over there. You've also got some herbs. We've used some rosemary and some parsley into there, just to add that pop of flavor into the recipe and make it, because it's quite a simple but flavorful dish.
Yeah.
So you're going to blend that all of that up. And normally when making stews like this, you'd want to add water or stock. So that's where the liquid and tomato base comes from in this dish.
So I'm going to see and see if this will whip up without any extra water. But you can add water if you want. I think essentially, Tumi, I also want to find out from you, why blend it and not just leave it as a thick relish?
Because the whole idea is you wanted to create that sauce and help everything just mellow together, right?
Yep.
So while you're doing that, Palesa, I've actually got some lamb kidneys and some spinach that we made a little earlier, because this is going to need a couple of minutes to cook. So I'm going to start dishing up this amazing dish that we're going to have while you guys add that sauce into the lamb.
Beautiful. Yes, chef. One last tip.
So before we add in our tomato and blitzed onion, I added some garlic, some onion, and some peppers, and a little bit of water, and there was a lamb cube. Lamb stock, sorry, that I added just to give it flavor. And I try by all means to avoid using salt from time to time because of, you know, health issues. But yeah, because our beef cube also has got enough salt in it. And then now we're adding the blitzed tomato and
just like that.
Yeah, just
ready
like that.
To go. But again, if anyone wants to get the recipes and ingredients for this, just head over to our website.
pudding. Okay.
Yummy, this looks delicious. We're putting our finishing touches on this. But again, you just head over to afternoonexpress.co.za to find out how to whip up Chef Tapiwa's dishes. Now, you've got some sweet treats coming up.
I've got a sweet treat that's coming up. We've got some pudding coming up. We will be doing it once we are done plating. Yes, Chef Tumi, would you want to tell the people at home what exactly it is?
It is a steamed maize pudding. You guys want to stay tuned for this.
Thank you so much. You remembered.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, not all great puddings get baked in the oven. Our steamed lemon maize pudding is a stove-top creation for the perfect sweet treat to end off a scrumptious African month cook-along. Now, it's best served with a generous dollop of that Clover classic custard. There's just no better pairing than that.
Definitely, Palisa. I mean, custard is something that I think is also a tradition in South Africa because there's no dessert complete without custard. So what better ingredient to use than Clover Classic? Because it's enriched with so many vitamins and minerals. It tastes good on anything. I mean, you could serve me a shoe and I could eat it with some Clover Classic custard. But to make this beautiful, simple, steamed pudding, I think it's something that's so interesting because it's steamed maize pudding, and most times you'd have steamed bread or steamed what, but we're using maize in this dish. So, Chef, you want to just run us through what ingredients we need for this?
So, for this ingredient, for this recipe, the ingredients that we use, we're gonna need some butter, some sugar, some egg, vanilla essence, some icing sugar, and some maize, and some maize meal. And also, we will need a bowl, and as you can see inside the bowl, I've got 1 cube of butter. Anyone to tell me what's this for?
No
or should I check? Okay, so this is, I'm going to butter this bowl so that it doesn't stick. Yeah, so that it doesn't stick.
I'm like, because you've already got some butter, why do you need another butter? Okay.
That's the trick. So you need to easily take it out.
Okay. So let me also give you another trick, Chef. I'm so glad that you mentioned the fact that we're using here maize. But let me tell you, Mzansi, this recipe, you can swap out the maize for more flour if you like, if you don't have any maize. And the addition of maize, it just gives that extra texture, you know, and it gives it that wonderful flavor. And with the lemon, I'm telling you, it is absolutely delicious. So you're able to play. So I've already sifted here some flour that you can use as well. So we're using both, some maize and some flour.
And the reason you're sifting the flour, Palisa, is because we want to make sure we make it a light dessert. One thing you do not want when you're having desserts is to have something that's stodgy, that makes you feel like you didn't just eat something celebratory. I mean, dessert is always, you know, when they say save dessert, eat dessert first, it's because it's such a great thing. You don't want to have anyone eat your dessert. So you want to make it a delicious pudding. So, and then once you've done that, we're going to put it into the flour. All I'm doing, Palisa, is because with any dish, there has to be texture. So we've got our nice, beautiful pudding, and then we're going to have some crushed biscuits that are going to go on top. So imagine the mixture of the crushed biscuits, that Clover Classic custard, the steamed pudding. Oh, it's just love in a bowl, right?
I love that. My favorite thing about Clover Classic custard, Chef Tapiwa, is that it can go with almost anything. You can enjoy it by itself, or you can have it in a delicious dessert, and that's what we're doing today. Now, this recipe is just so imaginative to me. Yes, we've enjoyed steamed bread. I think we enjoyed steamed bread a few weeks ago and on the show, but now we're using it in a bit of a pudding recipe. Now, I haven't heard of lemon maize pudding.
Me neither, Palisa. I mean, Chef brought the juice today because he schooled me on it before, so he actually gave me a test to see if I'd be able to finish it up today. But I am excited to see exactly what it's about because maize, lemon, I mean, who would have thought of that?
Now, something also very interesting, Chef. A lot of people say that there is a trick to making sure that when you do steam anything, it doesn't bubble, it doesn't make noise. You know that of the whole pot and the whole house knows that something is... Can you tell us more about that? And Tumi, I also know you've also learned some tips there.
Yes, I actually learned this from Chef himself. So what he said is we've got some water that's been bubbling up in here because the whole idea is to steam. So the water is hot and you want it to be bubbling up. However, you just need a cloth, and what happens is that cloth is going to go into the center of your pot. So you put it at the bottom. I'm not going to put it in just now because we're not yet making the pudding, so I'll only put it towards the end. What that does is it helps with the evaporation of that water so that you don't have this while you're busy cooking, you know, because we don't want to be irritated while we're in the kitchen. You want to be having fun. So I'm going to let this steam a bit while I'm crushing our biscuits, and then towards the end, when we add our pudding in there, I'll put the cloth at the bottom and then get baking with, or rather steaming with, our beautiful pudding.
Brilliant. How's it going over there, Chef?
I'm doing good. I'm just crushing now the butter. I mixed the butter, the sugar, the egg, the vanilla essence, the icing sugar. I'm just going to continue whipping it until the butter is crushed. Then I'm going to add in a little bit of flour to my mixture over here.
A very inventive recipe. How does one even begin to think of creating something like this?
Well, it all begins by just playing around with the simple ingredients that you have in your kitchen. I mean, food for me is food. You can make a meal out of whatever that you have in your kitchen, and just experimenting, basically. I mean, yeah, just to put it in a nutshell, that's it.
Beautiful. I've got some lemon here, lemon zest to me. Is this enough? Should I have more?
That is perfect, Palisa, because what I'm going to do is we want the zest to go on top as well because we want that punch of flavor. But I'm also going to add a bit into Chef's mixture because I think because we talked about lemony flavor, so why not add it into the actual center of the pudding? And Chef, as you're adding all those ingredients that are going in there, we've also got this bowl that you've greased nicely. It is very important to make sure that your bowl is greased. If it's not greased, all that's going to happen is it's going to burn. So you want to make sure that even once you've baked it and it's steamed nicely, it plops out of your bowl, which we'll show you very soon. But Chef, you've just put in the maize in there, and have you added the flour as well?
I haven't. I'm about to. I've got the flour here with me.
Okay.
Nicely sifted together.
I mean, star sifting quality. That's what I'm talking about, making sure it's airy.
Chef, I don't know, Chef, if you're dealing, who you're dealing with right there. We're talking about a SAFTA nominee right there. This girl right here is a boss. You know? So you have to make sure you put some respect on this girl's name.
And I'm so glad that you brought that up because it truly has been the sweet beginning to a year. Or maybe I should say the sweet halfway, because we're a bit halfway through the year.
But Lisa, if this is how your year is going, I feel like you're going to be, you are basically on a great start. Like, you are doing it, girl. You are killing it. Well done again.
Someone else who's killing it, though, in the kitchen is Chef Tapiwa. Now, Chef, you were also speaking about, just as you are emptying out your mixture into your pot, the fact that you're not too comfortable with being called chef just yet.
Well, a lot of... So because of my transition from a person that was flying in a desk, by flying in a desk, I mean a person who was sitting in front of a computer for years and having to move from the front of house to the kitchen. I mean, I still feel like they're big boys in the game who deserve the term chef, because I always hear people saying, "Nah, if I can cook or if someone can cook something, they call themselves a chef." I mean, we need to earn it. We need to earn that title. We need to earn that title. You cannot just be calling yourself a chef without, you know. So I feel like I still need to learn quite a lot. And I'm at a stage whereby right now, I think I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm getting there. Soon I'll be accepting the title chef.
And one thing we are accepting is this delicious meal.
Yes,
Tumi, just as you are uncovering, that is a treat. To get this recipe, just head over to afternoonexpress.co.za.
So, we've had classic fashion from Timby, classic cars, thanks Chad, and we've seen classic hairstyles. And you, Michael? Classic.
A classic range from Clover. Timeless taste.
Made with love by Clover.
Palisa, just look at that. Just cascades of deliciousness and flavor. I think, as always, I'm going to start with dessert, Bali.
Absolute creaminess. Now stick around as we continue the fun of this cook-along by ending it off by enjoying our meal and chatting to the very inspiring Chef Tapiwa.
Join Olive Pride Chef's Tour and travel the country as we cook along with Luyanda Mafanya, Ruben Riffel and Jan Bry every Tuesday on Afternoon Express. Win 1 of 10 cooking appliances weekly or a grand prize of a kitchen makeover worth 150,000 Rand. To enter, buy any Olive Pride pack and dial star 120 star 2462 star with your unique code to enter. Prepare to be proud.
Welcome back to our African-inspired dining room table. Now, what I love about today is that we're just enjoying an absolute spread, not only of decadence when it comes to the food, but celebration of colors. So, Chef Tapiwa,
Yes.
would you mind telling us just quickly what we enjoyed today?
Okay, today we started off with our Lucky Star burgers. We're gonna be devouring them soon, and then we moved on to our lamb kidneys with Samp and beans with creamy spinach, and then we've got the Trinity pap. That's the pap with the 3 cheeses. So you can basically use any cheese, any 3 cheeses that you can get out of, and then we've got our tripe with ox tripe with peanut butter, and we've got our pudding over here. So yeah, we're gonna get into it.
Well, on that note, as we round off Africa Month, we've reached our favorite part of the show where we get to indulge in all of the delicious food that was made. So let's get eating.
Balisa, I'm excited because Chef was talking about what twist he puts on this food, and I've had tripe before. It's one of my favorite things to have. I've never tried it with peanut butter. So I'm gonna give you an A or a yay or a nay, Chef, depending on whether I'm happy or not. But I mean, by the look of it, by the smells that were coming from the kitchen earlier, I feel like it's a definite yes. I know I said I'm gonna start with dessert, but I'm going into this tripe and
I need Chef to just dish up everything. He takes my plate and he looks up to be like, should I dish up for you? The answer is yes. 1000% dish.
Well, for me, I eat a lot. I've got a huge appetite. So for a lady, I wouldn't know. So that's why I'm constantly looking at you, trying to see whether I've put in enough for you. Okay,
which brings us
to... There's more, yeah.
Which brings us to our social media question. We just wanted to find out from all of our viewers, what do you love to enjoy during this time of the year, especially as we celebrate Africa Month? And Ubusiswa says it will definitely be umngqusho nolusu, #Afternoon Express. We've kind of done that today, hey Dumi. We do have umngqusho and we do have ulusu, but in separate dishes.
Exactly, Balisa, and that's the one thing I've noticed that our viewers love. Our viewers love their traditional foods. They love that organ meat. They love, just celebrating those economical types of meats, and that's what I love about today's recipes, that they are so economical, they are so simple and so delicious.
Dumi, quickly, peanut butter in ulusu, yes, no?
Well, I love peanut butter, and I'm saying yes, and
Perfect.
I'm saying yes again, and another yes.
Thank you so much for coming in, Chef Tapiwa. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for welcoming me. I appreciate. Thank you so much. Many thank you.
Mwah. Now, what a glorious and prideful week it has been, enjoying the flavors of our beautiful home continent. Now, if you'd like to revise any of the dishes and the steps that we've covered, be sure to catch our repeats on Saturday morning at 8:30. Be sure to tune in next week, Tuesday and Thursday at 5:30 p.m. right here on S3 as we officially kick off Youth Month celebrations. But until then, Mzansi, good night, stay safe and happy eating. Goodbye.
Bye.
Here's to family favorites and recipes passed from mothers to daughters. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.